You want a faster 5K. You've been training. You've been showing up. And your time is barely moving. So what's actually going on? Here's a truth that most running content will never say out loud. Running more is not the answer. In fact, for a huge portion of runners trying to get faster at the 5K, adding more miles is actively working against them. The thing that's going to drop your time isn't what you think it is. And it's probably not what your favorite running app has been telling you to do. Either, the 5K is one of the most misunderstood distances in all of running. People treat it like a beginner race, a warm-up, something you graduate past on your way to real distances like a half marathon or marathon. But here's the thing, the 5K is brutal. It demands a very specific type of fitness that most casual training plans completely miss. And once you understand what that actually looks like, you're going to rethink everything about how you've been preparing. Stick with me through this video because I'm going to share 3 truths about 5K improvement that most runners never hear. Not tips, not hacks, actual truths that change how you approach training. And if you're new here, this is exactly the kind of content we put out, honest, practical, and designed to actually make you faster. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Before I get into it, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. Seriously, city, state, wherever you are in the world. I love knowing who's in this community, and it always trips me out how many people from different places are all chasing the same goal. So let me know down there, and then let's get into it. What I'm about to share took me a long time to piece together. And I've watched it change the trajectory for runner after runner once they finally understood it. There are 3 specific truths about improving your 5K time that almost never get talked about clearly, not in a way that actually sticks. By the end of this video, you're going to have a completely different picture of what getting faster really requires. And that picture is going to make your next training block make a lot more sense. The first truth is one that sounds almost as simple when you hear it. But it's genuinely one of the most misunderstood things in recreational running. Here it is. To run your 5K faster, you need to regularly run faster than your 5K pace in training. That's it. That's the truth. And yet the vast majority of people training for a 5K never once run at a pace that's faster than their goal pace, not even for 30 seconds. Think about what most training plans look like. You run a few days a week. You build up your mileage gradually. You maybe do one longer run on the weekend. And all of that running happens at roughly the same pace. Comfortable, sustainable, easy to moderate. Which is fine for building a base. But if your goal is to actually run 5 kilometers faster than you've ever run it before, at some point your body needs to experience what fast actually feels like. It needs to practice it. Your muscles, your cardiovascular system, your running mechanics. All of it needs to be exposed to faster speeds in a controlled setting before it can reproduce those speeds on race day. This is why interval training exists, and this is why it's not optional if you want a genuine PR short. Hard efforts, we're talking things like running hard for 2 minutes, recovering for 90 seconds, and repeating. That's 6 or 8 times. Teach your body to handle a faster pace. They recruit muscle fibers you don't use on easy runs. They expand your cardiovascular ceiling. They make your goal 5K pace feel more manageable because you've already been somewhere harder. I once talked to a runner named Jen who had been stuck at the same 5,000 time for over a year. She was running 4 days a week religiously. She was following a plan. She was doing the miles. But every single run she did was at the same moderate effort. She'd never done a single speed workout in her life. When I described what interval training looks like and why it works, her first reaction was that sounds awful, and I told her, you're right, it is uncomfortable. But it's 400 meters of uncomfortable, not 3 miles of it. And that brief, intentional discomfort is what's been missing from your training. She tried 1 speed session per week for 6 weeks. Her 5K time dropped by almost 2 minutes. Not because she got some magical fitness upgrade, because her body finally had a reason to adapt upward. She'd given it a stimulus it had never experienced before, and it responded exactly the way bodies respond to new challenges. It got better at handling them. What does your training actually look like right now? Is there any day in your week that genuinely challenges you at a faster pace? Think about that honestly, because the answer might explain a lot. Alright, here's the second truth, and this one surprises people even more than the first one. If you want to get faster, you need to also run slower on purpose. Way slower than you probably do on your easy days. I know that sounds like it contradicts what I just said, but here's how it actually works. Your body's ability to run fast comes from two things working together: a strong aerobic base and the ability to access higher speeds. The speed work I just described builds the ceiling. Easy running, genuinely easy, comfortably conversational running, builds the foundation. And without a strong foundation, the ceiling has nothing to sit on. Here's where most runners get this wrong. Their easy days aren't actually easy. They're medium, moderate effort. Not hard enough to push the ceiling up, but not easy enough to actually build the aerobic base efficiently. They're running in a gray zone that feels productive but produces very little actual adaptation. It's the worst of both worlds. You're accumulating fatigue without getting the specific benefits of either end of the effort spectrum. The way to fix this is to take your easy days seriously as easy days. If you can't hold a full, comfortable conversation while running, you're going too fast. If you feel like you're working, even a little, you're going too fast. Your easy pace might need to be a minute or even a minute and a half per mile slower than you think. And that's okay, that's correct. Because what you're doing on those easy days is building the engine that makes everything else possible. You're developing your cardiovascular system's ability to deliver oxygen efficiently. You're building the cellular machinery in your muscles that supports sustained effort. You're recovering well enough to actually perform on your hard days. Elite distance runners spend somewhere between 70 and 80% of their training mileage at what most people would consider embarrassingly slow paces. And then they go absolutely hard on the remaining 20%. The contrast, truly easy and truly hard, is what produces elite results. Recreational runners tend to do the opposite, almost everything at medium, which is why results plateau so quickly. There's a runner I know who used to pride himself on never running slow. Every run was at what he called a solid pace. He thought easy running was for people who weren't serious. When I challenged him to flip his approach, genuinely easy on easy days, genuinely hard on hard days, he almost didn't buy in because it felt like going backwards. 3 months later, he told me his easy runs were faster than his old solid pace used to be, because the foundation he built finally had room to develop. What would it feel like to give yourself full permission to go slow on your easy days? Because I think a lot of runners resist this because it feels like laziness. It's not laziness. It's one of the smartest things you can do for your long-term speed. Now here's the third truth, and this is the one that I think hits hardest because it's the least comfortable to hear. Improving your 5,000 time requires you to race, not just train. And most people who say they want to get faster haven't actually towed a start line in months, sometimes years. Training prepares you. Racing reveals you. And there is something that happens inside your body and your brain when a starting gun goes off and other runners are around you and there's a clock ticking and real stakes are on the line. Something that simply does not happen during training runs alone. That competitive environment, that slight anxiety, that biological surge of energy, it produces efforts you cannot fully replicate in solo training. And you need those efforts repeatedly to actually get better at racing. But beyond the physiology, there's a deeper truth here. Most people who are stuck at the same 5K time are stuck partly because they don't actually race very often, which means they don't get clear, real data on where they stand. Training times and race times are different. Training conditions and race conditions are different. The only way to truly measure your progress and identify exactly where you're losing time is to put yourself in a real race regularly and pay attention to what happens. Think about the specific moments in a 5,000 where things fall apart for you. Is it the first kilometer when everyone goes out to fast and you either get caught up in it or fall too far behind? Is it the second kilometer, the middle section that most runners call the hardest part mentally? Is it the last kilometer, when your legs are heavy and your pace slips because you don't have a strong finishing kick? Each of those is a different problem with a different solution. But you can only figure out which one is yours by actually racing and paying attention, not just logging comfortable training miles. I think a lot of runners avoid racing because of fear of a bad result, fear of going too hard and falling apart publicly, fear that the time on the clock won't match the effort they've been putting in. And I completely understand that. Racing is vulnerable in a way that training runs aren't. But here's the thing. A bad race is still more valuable than no race. A race where you go out to fast and blow up in the last kilometer tells you exactly what to work on next. That information is priceless. You can't get it from a solo run on your usual route. Has it been a while since you actually signed up for and ran a 5K race? Not a virtual race, not a time trial on your own. An actual event with other people? If your honest answer is yes, that might be the single biggest missing piece in your improvement journey. Go find a local 5K, sign up this week, and treat it as a learning experience, not as a performance, as data. So let's step back and look at the full picture. Because I think when these three truths sit together, they tell a very clear story. You need to run faster in training, specific, intentional speed sessions that push your body past its comfort zone in short, controlled bursts. You need to run slower on your easy days, genuinely easy, building the aerobic engine that supports everything else. And you need to race, actually compete, expose yourself to real race conditions. Collect real data about where you are and where the gaps are. That three-part structure is what a serious approach to 5K improvement looks like, and it's dramatically different from just logging miles at a comfortable pace several times a week. None of this requires you to be a serious athlete or train like your life depends on it. It just requires intention. The difference between a runner who improves and a runner who plateaus isn't usually talent or time spent running. It's whether their training is actually designed to produce improvement, or whether it's just movement for the sake of movement. And look, movement for the sake of movement has real value. There are runs where the goal is just to feel good. Clear your head, enjoy being outside, those runs matter. But if your goal is a faster time, those runs alone won't get you there. You need some sessions in your week that are actually designed to make you faster. That's the intention piece. Here's what I want you to take from this. The 5K is a demanding race that rewards a very specific kind of preparation. It's not just a beginner distance you grind through. It's a real test of speed and endurance working together, and improving your time. Means training both ends of that spectrum intentionally. Go hard when you should go hard. Go easy when you should go easy. And actually race. The runners who improve consistently aren't running more than you necessarily. They're running smarter. And smarter is available to everyone regardless of fitness level, age, or how long you've been running. What's your current 5K time? And what's your goal? I genuinely want to know. Drop it in the comments right now. Let's see where everyone is. Starting from, because I think it's going to be really cool to see the range of people watching this and all working toward the same thing. Whether you're trying to crack 30 minutes for the first time or push under 20, this community is for you. If this video gave you something real to work with, and you want more content that actually breaks down running in a way that makes sense, subscribe here. This is what we do, and there's a lot more coming. I promise you won't be disappointed. And I've got another video that connects directly to this one. It goes into how to build a weekly training schedule that actually incorporates everything we just talked about without burning you out or overcomplicating it. I'll link it right here. Watch that next and you'll have everything you need to go into your next training block with a real plan. Your next 5K PR is closer than you think. You just needed to know where to actually look for it.